So, how do we help our struggling writers, the ones that need intervention?
Hi, it's Robin Mellum. I'm the creator of the Structured Writing Workshop, and I wanted to talk today about how I start off the year and how I do my pacing, mainly before I do essays. And this workshop is based on what I learned as a children's book author when I left the classroom for a while. So everything that I do is based on things that I learned from my editors. And then they are behaviors that I also learned from other authors. So it's all real world action that we do in our workshop. I wanted to mimic the real world. So everything we do in here has a purpose, and it's the type of training that probably is different from anything you've done before. But I wanted to show you that I have a few things for you, like my quick start launch. And this takes you through the different steps that I take to get the workshop launched. And I do want to say that I do not set up my workshop of a day by day do this exactly, because I do want the process to be your own. I also realize that every school district is different. And in addition, my own school district, we pretty much change every year too. I mean, I've never really taught the workshop exactly the same every year because it depends on what my school district wants. And it also depends on the level of my kids. What do they need? Do I need to slow down? Do I need to speed up? Do we need to go a little deeper here? Do I need to redo this one? So it's never the same. So I know it would be great if I could just say, just do this every day and then step by step. But this is just a little bit more open and flexible for you to fold this into whatever it is that you're already doing with your planning. So in this quick start launch, it talks about these are steps like day 1, day 2, and I would do the workshop together like a few days at a time so that you can get this launched and up off the ground. And I always start with this voice lesson and we do it together as a class. I don't let them start the workshop until they have done the voice lesson. Now I do show them the slides that explain the workshop and I get them super excited about it. And then I say, oh, you got to prove to me that you're ready to do this. And that's when we do the voice lesson. So then you would layer in all these different components to the workshop, maybe a little bit more in the next one, maybe some more, maybe music. Maybe the next time we're going to introduce the digital spinners. Too much at once can be like overwhelming, and then you won't remember, they won't remember, they'll shut down. So I just do a little bit at a time. It's like, spreading out your Christmas gifts. You know what I mean? So this will take you through how to do this in about 6 steps. Could be 6 days. You might be able to do a couple of things per day at your school, depending on how long your blocks are. And so once you get this up and off the ground, they can start then taking out their personal record trackers. They can start leading the meetings, and then you can move on into the next lesson. So the first lesson in the workshop is always another voice lesson. Then I move into hooks if it seems like they're ready to move on. And the first 3 skills that I do, voice, hooks, and sentence complexity, I spend the most time on that. And then the question came up about, but what do we do when we have essays? Do we have to go through all 6 skills before they even write an essay? Well, let me show you what I do for the year, breaking this into 2 semesters. So we reorganized these basically so that I have 3 units a year. And my first one now is fables and short stories. And their first essay is writing a fable from the point of view of an animal. The reason why I moved that around is because we just did the voice lesson, and that is where they're going to get the skill of being able to write from a new perspective with a little bit of attitude. And then writing a fable, it's a really kind of simple story to get into for them to understand plotting. So it's just the perfect first essay for them to do because they're just doing the basics: voice, perspective, and basic plotting. And then by the time we get to the next big essay, they have had, like some kind of, they know what the 6 skills are. So some of them will see in their slides when I make their set that they know that this 5th skill like is vivid imagery, and they might be able to go ahead and move forward and try and include those things. But it's always stacked heavier at the beginning. My skills are highest priority So it's way more important to talk about voice and hooks and sentence complexity than it is dialogue. Dialogue is important, but it is one of those things that doesn't need equal amount of time. So do more at the beginning and then so on from there. And then I made for you all, let's see, this other one. This is another document that kind of is a basic, like how I usually like to set up my classroom. It depends on if our unit is a short story article unit. Is it a novel? What are we doing there? And this is what I would do every day. And this sometimes changes. But this is just a basic, like how I would set up my class. If I was doing a novel, we do our warm-ups, vocabulary, read the chapter, do the reading response together, and so on. We still hold our writers workshop once a week. So I do a lot of work at the beginning to get the workshop up off the ground so that it is seamlessly, included in my weekly schedule every Thursday. That's what I ended up doing. I was doing Wednesday, but it's a whole long story where I had to change. And then this is my essays that I do. It's done in 10 days. And you can use the Deconstruct an Essay resources that I have and just use those slides and just pull them up each day. So if they're doing drafting body paragraph 1, then you'll pull up the example one, talk about it, get to work, and so on. And then this will take you through the 10 days. And then we are back into workshop, which they get so excited about. Okay, let me show you one more thing here. I made this as well for you where you can see at a glance. Let me show you this. These are now the order of the essays that we do through the year. And then you can get more copies of my sample schedule there. And then this kind of tells you like how I map out the year. This might change a little bit, but I do like to pop in first and figure out where all my essays are going to pop in there and then sort of backwards plan. But this would give you the basics of how to set up your year with your writer's workshop and so on. Now, if you are interested, if you have not taken the full training, I will have information below. It's an incredibly different type of training that you may not have experienced before. And then we have a Facebook group. A lot of these files I'm going to add to the Facebook group. So if you're already in there, you'll see them there. If not, come join our group, check out the training, and then I will see you in the next one.